Hi there, I'm Chris Traynor, Guidance Team Manager at Newcastle University Career Service, and welcome to this short video on how to succeed at recruitment tests, sometimes known as psychometric tests. Now, recruitment tests are found in various styles and settings, and we won't cover everything in this video, but we will give you a brief introduction to some of the most commonly found tests in the graduate recruitment market. We'll look at a few example questions, and we'll also suggest some tips on how to maximise your performance. Afterwards, if you'd like to discuss anything further, please get in touch with the Career Service and we'll be happy to help. The first set of tests we're going to have a look at are numerical reasoning tests. These assess various mathematical skills and are usually aimed at around GCSE level maths. Candidates are often allowed to use a calculator, though this can vary. The key to this is become more familiar with the level of maths required, especially if you've not studied the subject for several years. The university's Maths Aid, based in the Philip Robinson Library, have one-to-one support as well as a wealth of online help guides and practice tests. If you haven't discovered them yet, they're well worth a visit. There are other resources to help you as well with your preparation, including those on our website, and we'll come to these later on, and things such as BBC Bite-Size Online. Here's an example of a typical numerical reasoning question for us to have a look at. Pause the slide now for up to 60 seconds maximum and have a go yourself. The correct answer will be shown on the next slide. The correct answer is B, 22%, as shown here. Well done if you got this correct. Moving on now, let's look at verbal reasoning tests. These typically assess your ability to understand written information and your ability to evaluate arguments about it and extract key information. The topics of the text in question will vary considerably. It is really important not to use your prior knowledge of the topic and just use the information provided in the text when answering questions. To enhance your performance, try and make a habit of critically reading articles and challenging yourself to extract the key information. Academic articles related to your degree can be useful, as can reading newspapers and articles on news websites like the BBC. With practice, you should aim to work quickly and accurately on these tests. Here's an example of a typical verbal reasoning test question. There's a passage of text and then a statement at the end. Read the passage and decide if the statement is true, false, or you cannot say based on the information provided. Again, pause the slide for up to 60 seconds to work through the example. The correct answer is shown on the subsequent slide. The correct answer here is false. Those who download music do buy legal music, as we are told that they actually spend more on legal music than other fans. Now let's look at logical reasoning tests. These assess your ability to identify patterns and trends and to find solutions. Now, at first glance, you might find some of the questions appear to be slightly unusual, but with practice, you can often see similar patterns and sequences repeating themselves in different tests. Ultimately, experience and practice can help your familiarity and performance with these tests. So for our next example, look at the sequence of shapes. Which shape comes next in the sequence? Is it A, B, C, D, or E? Again, pause the slide for up to 60 seconds and see if you can predict which option comes next. The correct answer is shown on the next slide. The correct answer is C. The main shape in the middle follows the sequence of triangle, circle, and then square. Triangle and circle have just appeared, therefore square is next. The arrow rotates clockwise each time, and the bisecting line alternates between the horizontal and the vertical position. Therefore, it should be vertical next. Well done if you got this correct. Now, the tests we've looked at up until now are among the most commonly used by recruiters, but you may also come across other styles. Two particular examples worth mentioning are personality tests and situational judgement tests. This is because skills are not the only thing that employers want to assess. They want to see what you're like as a person and if you will fit into their team, their company ethos and values. So these questions are typically based around either an agree or disagree response or a ranking of preferred responses, and can be based on statements or scenarios in various workplace settings. Unlike the tests we have looked at so far, there are normally no right or wrong answers necessarily, as these questions are subjective in nature and they are interpreted in different ways by different employers. It's important to answer honestly, therefore. And whilst there's certainly no harm in researching the company and being familiar with what they're looking for, don't fall into the trap of trying to overthink your responses. Remember that applying for a job is a two-way thing. And so being untruthful to try and say what you think the company wants to hear can be a dangerous game. Not only could you guess wrong, but it also means that the company might not be the right fit for you and you end up being unhappy working there in any case. Finally, in recent years, it's become more increasingly common for employers to make use of so-called games-based assessments, either in place of or in addition to some of the formats we've looked at so far. The gamification of selection tests are intended to make the process more enjoyable and to elicit more natural behaviours when candidates are perhaps more kind of in the moment of gameplay and respond to the challenges in a truly authentic way rather than overanalyzing a hypothetical situation and providing the responses that they think the employer wants to hear, even if it's not how they would truly react in such a situation. Now, there are various formats of games-based assessments on the market, and some of them are quite impressive graphically and actually quite fun to play. There are some screenshots here, but take a look at the Career Service website for more examples. I'll also come back in a moment to ways that you can practice this kind of test to gain some experience of how they typically work. So that's a brief overview of some of the most common tests you can expect to come across. Although we've given you some brief tips here, the key to succeeding in really any psychometric test is becoming more familiar with them, and this can only really be achieved through practice. Practicing will increase your familiarity with the types of questions and will enable you to answer the questions both accurately and quickly. Because timings can be so strict in many of these tests, the ability to work both quickly and accurately is often the biggest challenge for many candidates. So the more used you are to the tests and the speed that you need to work at, the easier it will become. To help you do this, we subscribe to a platform called Graduates First, which has some good examples of the tests featured in this video, and I'd highly recommend spending some time with it. This screenshot shows you how to access it from the Career Service website. The Graduate First platform is freely available to students from Newcastle and gives an opportunity to practice and receive automatically generated results and to some suggestions on how to improve. It's well worth spending some time on before you complete any employer tests for real. Finally, it's important to go into any tests with a good and positive mindset, thinking that you can really do this. You might feel a little bit nervous, but make sure that you're at your best and delay the test if you feel you're not quite 100% on that particular day. Undertake breathing exercise beforehand if necessary to reduce your heart rate and increase your focus. Make sure that you undertake the test in a productive, quiet and distraction-free environment. Basically, treat it like an exam. Tell your housemates you need some time to yourself, or perhaps book a quiet room in the library. Make sure that you have everything you need around you, whether it be a calculator, a timer, pen and paper to make rough notes or working outs. Be prepared. And lastly, make sure that you read the instructions slowly and carefully. Some people do get caught out by answering in the wrong way, so know what the test is asking for and make sure you understand how to respond accordingly. So that's it. Thanks for watching this quick overview of how to succeed at recruitment tests. Make sure you access the Graduate First platform for the practice versions we looked at earlier. And if you do want to discuss anything further, feel free to get in touch with the Career Service. Appointments are available at mycareer.ncl.ac.uk. Thanks again, and if you do have any upcoming tests coming up, the very, very best of luck with them.